You don't need money. You need wholeness and completeness within yourself. All you need to do is find wholeness and completeness, and all of the money in the entire universe will be yours. Stop trying to rush. Stop trying to push. Stop trying to force something into existence before you feel it internally. The internal world is creating the external world. And if you feel incomplete and you're trying to create money and you're trying to create this and this and this in your outer world, you're going to come up empty every single time. You're going to be pushing against the very laws that control everything. And my grandfather told me something that was very important as it relates to this while I was in prison. He told me that when you can learn to be happy in there, you can learn to be happy anywhere. And I'm going to explain what this means because it took me so long to figure this out. When you can learn to be happy with nothing, you can be successful anywhere. And when I was in prison, there was a system. There was a system when I was in prison of ordering books, and this process would take 3 to 6 months just to get one book or two books at a time. Trying to have those ordered from the outside world, you had to jump through all these hoops in order to have it sent into the prison. Then you get put on a waiting list, and then you have to wait for the call out, and then you have to go wait at the property room in order to pick it up. And it was this process that took 3 to 6 months at some of the prisons I was at. All right. But a book to me, receiving a book in prison, a new Buddhist book or a new book on the law of assumption or quantum physics or something, that was like Christmas morning to me. That was like you receiving a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a house on the beach. That's how excited I was to get a new book. I wouldn't even be able to sleep the night before when I was on the call out to pick up this book. I've been waiting for it for 3 to 6 months. That's the kind of life that I lived. I didn't have the luxuries of everything that we have now in the outer world. I didn't have that. But I learned how to be whole and complete while I was in there. And now that I have been released, I am whole and complete without anything. And now I am attracting and I am magnetic and I am connected to the law of thought transmission. And everyone can feel that. It doesn't matter what I'm creating, whether it's a business, whether it's a brand, it doesn't matter what I'm creating at all. Whatever I do, people can feel that connection because I am whole and complete. Because of what I discovered while I was in prison, that nothing within the simulation in the exterior world is going to make you feel whole and complete. You have to find wholeness and completeness within yourself with nothing. And when you can do that, you will be attracting everything. Money, relationships, cars, houses, businesses, helping people. Your family will improve. You'll be able to help everybody that you want to help in this state when you're whole and complete. But until you become whole and complete, you're going to be chasing wholeness and completeness within the simulation. The simulation can't make you whole and complete. It's created from the internal world. And when you're in this fixed mode or state of trying to find wholeness and completeness within the simulation, you're going to come up short every single time. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's a holographic world. Wholeness and completeness is within you. Love yourself. Love yourself and find the passion and interest in something that you love to do based on that wholeness. All right? If you think that you need money to be whole and complete, you're completely wrong. You're thinking the opposite way. You need to find gratitude and appreciation for everything that you already have in your life and become whole and complete within that, and know how much worse it can get. When you understand that, then all the money in the world will come to you. Once you find wholeness and completeness and you fill this gap within yourself, and you find this wholeness and completeness within yourself, and you stop rushing, you stop pushing, and you stop trying to find that wholeness and completeness within the simulation, you're going to have more money than you know what to do with. Because you're in a magnetic state. You're in a state of wholeness and completeness. And then what happens? Your imagination is already planning out everything within the simulation to mirror that wholeness and completeness within you. all the money, all the wealth, all the riches, everything is going to come to you. The happiness, the progress, the growth, the success, the financial freedom. All this stuff is going to come to you when you find wholeness and completeness within yourself. Because you're imagining that for yourself constantly. You don't have to affirm anything or visualize anything. You're already affirming and visualizing the congruent world in which you already live within yourself. The wholeness and completeness that you've already found within yourself is already creating the world in which you desire to live in. Stop trying to manifest in vain. Stop trying to find wholeness and completeness within the simulation. Find it within yourself. Know that your life right now is absolutely perfect, and be grateful for that, and be appreciative no matter what's happening, no matter whether you're in debt, no matter whether your car broke down, no matter whether your relationship went south. Stop focusing on it, because you're recreating more of that emptiness within. You're not whole and complete. That's why all that stuff is happening, is because you're not whole and complete within yourself. And then when this stuff happens, you become more whole, less whole and complete, because you're like, oh my gosh, I needed that relationship to feel whole, and now I don't feel whole and complete. I needed that money because that made me feel whole and complete. That's why it left. That's why it's out of your life now. It'll never leave your life when you're whole and complete with nothing. When you could be whole and complete right now, no matter what's happening to you within the simulation, you will never lose anything. You will have everything that you desire to have. You will be so magnetic and creating so many things to come into your life. Once you find this wholeness and completeness within the internal world, nothing within the simulation is going to make you feel that way. But it's going to mirror your wholeness and completeness once you find it within yourself. All of the money and all of the success, financial freedom, relationships, everything you could ever desire, you're going to have all these things when you find it within. So right now, your challenge today is to take a look around and even take my story into consideration. Being in prison for almost 10 years, 8.5 years. Not living that kind of life for almost an entire decade with absolutely nothing. Going through these trials and tribulations to where I looked at a book, getting a new book that you probably have laying around somewhere in your house that you've never even read. A book that takes me 6 months, 3 to 6 months to get. And I have to jump through all these loops, these hoops, and find all these loopholes to try to get myself on that list just so I can receive a new book, so I can read that. That was my Christmas morning, is to be able to sit or lay down on my rack and read a new book on quantum physics or law of assumption or self-development, and practice something like that, and get new information through a book. That was my Christmas morning. That was everything. That made me feel so great. That sense of gratitude is what you need for your life. And this is a good example to look at your life, of everything that you already have in your life, how much worse some people have it, and how I found happiness and wholeness in that situation. And imagine now how I feel living in the free world, having more money than I know what to do with, being able to drive a different supercar every day, to live in a beautiful house with an island in the backyard, to be able to travel and do whatever I want. How do you think that makes me feel now? I don't feel any different. I still feel whole and complete, just as I did what I found when I was in prison. Wholeness and completeness with nothing. Finding gratitude and appreciation with but really nothing is everything. Nothing is everything. That's what I discovered. That getting away from all of the phones, the instant gratification, all that stuff, getting away from all of those different things that were distracting my mind, refocusing inward and focusing on my thoughts and where they're going all the time. And then figuring out who I really am in that process of being in the quiet, in the stillness, of meditation. Because when you don't have all these distractions and with social media and instant gratification and all these different things that you're always doing something, within the simulation. When you're not doing all those things, you figure out, and you could slow time down, and you could find out who you truly are by knowing what's going on in your thoughts, what your inner dialogue is doing, what are you imagining. All these things I figured out while I was there. And I found that wholeness and completeness in the moment. That's what I found. Wholeness and completeness has nothing to do with the simulation. It's actually within you, and you can find that. You can find that right now. Within your current reality, you can find that right now. If you start practicing this and understanding what I'm telling you in this video. You can find wholeness and completeness right now. In the moment that you do, you're going to have everything. Everything is going to come to you, but it's not going to make you feel any different because you already feel whole and complete. You've already found it, but you're going to have all those things that you think now are going to make you whole and complete. Those things are just going to be side effects of your concept of yourself, that you created this wholeness and completeness within yourself. But you're going to have all this stuff, but it's not going to make you any more whole and complete than you've already found within with nothing. That's the secret. That's the trick. And you'll be happier than you ever could have imagined. So stop rushing, stop pushing, stop thinking that money and material things are going to make you whole and complete. They're not. Relationships are not going to make you feel whole and complete. Finding your specific person is not going to make you feel whole and complete. You have to find wholeness and completeness within yourself before all of that. Otherwise, you're manifesting in vain. You're manifesting a world where all that can be taken away from you in any moment because you can't control it, because you're not in the proper state. All right? Find wholeness and completeness right now by being super grateful for everything within your world and take into consideration how much worse your life can get. I know looking at that, having that view can be scary, but when you start looking into all those things, how much worse it can be, and make you feel very grateful for the things that you already have. Remember that. Your life, there are millions of people right now that wish they could be you, that would kill to have your life. Remember that. And you're taking it for granted. Love your life, every moment of your life. Stop taking it for granted. There are millions of people that wish they could be you. And understand that. Know that, because it's true. There are people in third world countries that don't even know what they're going to eat tomorrow, if they're lucky to get a bowl of rice, or they have to work an entire year just to get a new pair of sandals. Your life, you need to start having appreciation and joy and find wholeness and completeness with your life right now, because you have opportunities to have anything that you desire. And that starts with wholeness and completeness. I love you guys. And I just want to see, I want everyone to find this wholeness and completeness. And I think that's my mission here, is to explain this process and get everybody to find this within the simulation. Wholeness and completeness is contained with you, not within the simulation. Stop chasing wholeness and completeness. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.